We live in a world where the notion of control in general is giving way to a more sort of diverse set of voices, an authority-phobic population, a world where everybody has the opportunity to weigh in, speak up, tweet, retweet, meet up, challenge authority, and that's the soup you're swimming in as PR professionals, and I think it's a tough gig, right? You can no longer control the conversation as hard as you work to shape it beautifully. The second it's out there, and it's immediate fodder for critique, comment, retweet. And I think what you can do, though, is something that might be potentially more powerful, which is you can host the conversation. You can connect your audience, your constituents, to each other and to sources of inspiration and opportunities that are relevant to them. You can in fact host a community that ultimately is on your team. And that's much more powerful than a bunch of customers who are being broadcast to. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of uncertainty and noise and confusion in the system, so it's certainly a challenge. I think the new answer is the old answer, which is at core, you have to have a deeply human, authentic, compelling story that you're telling. And, I've always said brand is culture and culture is brand, and it's true for any kind of messaging. Messaging isn't messaging. It's really how do you create a seamlessness between who you are at home and who you are in the marketplace. And that starts with having a very well defined and articulated point of view about what you're trying to do in the world and why it's different from everybody else, and living that as a set of values inside an organization, because people can detect, something that's high gloss, something that's a message, and what breaks through today is something that's human, that's emotional, that is raw even, that's maybe even a little messy. People have a real tolerance for sort of halfway polished work in progress, you're sharing it with me. And I think the really powerful lesson today is that sharing is a way of building trust. And when you invite your community or your audience in and you say, you have something relevant to offer here, you should be part of the conversation, help us figure it out together, you not only create better solutions and better messaging, but you also create a lot of commitment and energy going forward. Powerful storytelling, we're always perfecting this as human beings, but it does go back to this original set of ideas, this authentic ambition to do something that's different, to do something that's meaningful. You got to have the raw materials to tell a great story, and having that point of view is so crucial. And a lot of, I think, organizations, especially big brands that have been around for a while, the question is, well, if you don't really have that, where do you get it? How do you excavate the ruins of the company to find it? And surprisingly, it exists. It exists in every organization, because anytime human beings come together to try to do something that's bigger than themselves, there's that original spark of what you would set out to do. And often when I've seen big organizations, whether it's the Girl Scouts or Lego recently, kind of trying to find themselves again. As the new CEO of Lego said, he said, we wanted to come home again to that original workshop, where dozens of years ago, someone started out this idea of playing together. That's the idea behind Lego. So I think often the best way to sort of excavate or to develop a sense of purpose is to, on the one hand, sort of go back to your past, and on the other hand, it's to go out to your community. And that idea, that search for a sense of purpose, actually really animated a whole new era of innovation and connection to customers and partners of all sorts. So I think it can be a very fruitful exercise, but it's one that you have to undertake and realize that honesty and authenticity and human language are at the core.